Main council meeting in order, roll call.
Peterson,
Here.
Krumsek,
Here.
Szymanski,
Here.
Wyatt, here, Schultz,
Here.
Wenzel,
Here.
Hamilton,
Here.
Kuhn.
Here.
Okay, first on the agenda is approval of the previous minutes from the two meetings we had on the 15th.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second to approve the previous council minutes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the treasurer's report.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second on the floor to approve the treasurer's report, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is a presentation. Sheila.
Good try.
Yeah, we canceled that retirement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry, Bobby.
Well, I have a going away present here for you. Open it.
I'm back now.
You guys all want to see what you got? From the menu.
Nice walk.
He took it out of his Sunday account.
Yeah.
Either that or quit, it's being over.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all the years. Heard it's been a few.
Yeah.
And thank you from current council and past council and citizens in Nekoosa. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
Appreciated everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the audit presentation. Monica, turn the floor over to you.
Alright, I'm Monica Hauser from Hawkins Ash CPAs. I'm going to do the audit presentation for the 2013 audit. And I gave you each 3 booklets. Well, actually, some of you didn't get the summary because we ran short. I'm going to present from the summary financials first. That's going to be the kind of the main focus. We prepared this smaller report for board presentation only. Put some graphs in there. It's just a little bit easier to understand and to read versus the big long financial statements. So on page 2, this is our independent auditor's report. And it just says basically that we prepare this for summary purposes only, does not include all of the required statements or note disclosures. And then it says here in the first, or the last line of the first paragraph, it says we express an unmodified audit opinion on these financial statements dated May 13, 2014. So that means that it's a clean opinion. So everything was in order as we would have expected. If you flip over to page 3, this is the, I'll talk about the graph first. This is the general fund balance. So during the presentation, I'm going to focus most of the time on the general fund. And like I said, if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. So you can see the blue line represents your total fund balance for the general fund. And your red line is the unassigned fund balance. And so we have, some of that fund balance is restricted for other purposes, and then the unassigned basically is available for other uses. So for 2013, your unassigned fund balance is $775,705. And we like to do a ratio of your unassigned fund balance as a percentage of your current year expenditures. Basically, if the revenue is late coming in or there's a revenue shortfall, how long could the city go without having to go out and short-term borrow? How much do they have in their reserves? And this year that came out to be 23%, so that's very good. Last year was 17%, and people always ask, well, what's a good number? I like to see between 25 and 35%. So, and even above 20 is pretty good. On page 3, this is a combined balance sheet, so it includes all of the funds of the city. Everything is very comparable to last year. So your total assets increased about $140,000 or 0.4%. So it's very comparable. Your liabilities, the long-term debt represents water and sewer only. And you'll see that there was a decrease there. The principal payments for 2013 was about $443,000. Overall, your liabilities decreased about $630,000 or 3%. Deferred inflows of resources, so this is, we described it as unavailable revenue, used to be called unearned revenue, but it's for the tax roll and like loans that are sitting out there. And that increased about $77,000 or 3%. So, and a lot of that has to do with the tax levy, how much is levied. Then equity, the net position number represents water and sewer. And we'll talk about water and sewer at the end of this report. General fund balance, you can see total fund balance is 1.5 million. It increased 246,000 or 19% from last year. So the fund balance is getting built back up there. And then the other fund balances represents the other funds of the city. And I have another statement in the back showing what makes that up, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. The next page, page 4, this is your general fund revenue. So you can see we compare budget to actual for 2013 compared to 2012 actual. And budget to actual, you were over budget 181,000. So from a revenue standpoint, being over budget is a good thing. And then comparing actual 2012 to actual 2013, there was an increase of 416,000. And that was primarily due to long-term debt of 400,000 being issued in 2013. So overall revenue was pretty comparable. You can see from the graph where your sources of revenue are coming from. Major source is intergovernmental revenue. And then charges for services is 22%, taxes is 20%. The next page is the general fund expenditures. And this is very summarized. But overall, total expenditures was under budget, 66,000. So being under budget on the expense side is very good. And then comparing actual to the prior year, it increased, the expenses increased about 365,000 or 12%. And if you see there that capital outlay line, there was a lot of capital outlay in 2013, so that's why the expenses were so much higher. I just did a short list of what we bought. Leaf machine, defibrillator, the front plow, 2 Tahoes, Delwood Lane, that was pretty much the largest piece of the capital outlay. Peckham Road, North Street, and then South Section Street. So those were all projects that contributed to that capital outlay number in 2013. And you can see in the graph where the expenditures are going towards. 45% is public safety, 25% is public works, 14% was capital outlay, and 11% was general government. On the next page, this is the water and sewer income statement. You can see the graph shows the net income or loss for the years. Water had a positive net income in 2013, and a lot of that had to do with, there was a rate study done in 2012, late 12 or early 13, and therefore the rates increased in 2013. So you can see there was a big jump in the charges for services in 2013. Sewer still has a loss. I guess my recommendation would be just take a look at the rates. I'm not sure if they were done when the water rates were done. If not, you may want to take a look at them and whether or not they want to be
Whether or not
adjusted.
we wanna get scalped. No, for me, it's
I'll
not a
leave it at
big
that.
deal, but you know, the rest of these guys might get under it.
Or we let it operate at a loss and that could help.
So, just something to think about. Page 7 and page 8. Page 7 is the other funds that I described before. So The other funds that we show are there's 3 TIFs, library, the CDBG fund, fire department, and then there's a debt service fund. And then the other information on page 8, this is what we do kind of as an overall summary of the audit. States that we issued an unmodified or clean opinion on the city's financial statements. And it states that we found your financial statements presented fairly in all material respects. General capital assets, we added 488,000. 13,496 was land improvements, 342,000 was infrastructure or the streets, 70,000 equipment, and then 62,000 was for vehicles. Water and sewer utilities, we added 137,000 of water and sewer assets during 2013. And then general long-term debt of the city, the general long-term debt increased 273,000. So your overall GO debt balance is 2.8 million, and it's well below the debt limit of 5,034,815. And then we issue an auditor's report on compliance and internal control over financial reporting. And that's part of the thicker book, which I'm not gonna go through, but that's the actual financial statements. And basically it just says that we didn't have any compliance violations that we need to report. The only issue we have, which has been for a number of years, is due to the size of the staff of the city. There's what we call segregation of duties, limitations. Basically saying that the office staff is small, that you don't have enough people to properly segregate all of the duties. So we just try to put other things into place to help compensate for those.
And they're working, and that's working for us, correct?
Seems to be working very good. I know John does a good review of things and that seems to help, so we don't end up with a lot of audit adjustments. And then the last thing is the communication with those charged with governance. That's the other smaller book that I handed out. If you wanna follow along, I'm just gonna go through this real quickly. So this booklet is required communication to the council. Basically, it's required because if there was issues during the audit, we're required to report them in this, which we had no issues, but we still have to issue the report saying that we didn't have any significant problems. And then we also identify on page 2, if we have to apply any new accounting policies. There were none in 2013, but if we did have to adopt new policies, they would be in this report. And if we have estimates, which we do, depreciation because we're estimating the lives of the assets, and then the allowance for municipal court receivable is an estimate as well. So we disclose that in here. On page 3, at the very top, we're required to disclose any audit journal entries. And so those are on pages 4 and 5. There were 9 entries. So overall, it's a very clean audit. Seems to be working well, having Shank doing the bookkeeping and then we come in and do the audit. And then on page 6 is the management advisory comments. So these are just general comments that when we come out to do the audit, we find things, and they're basically just suggestions for improvement. They're not necessarily findings or anything that severe, it's just something to consider. Some of these are repeat from last year. The first one, Governmental Accounting Standards Board, or GASB Statement Number 54. That was a repeated one from last year. Basically stating that the city should have a written fund balance policy, and we can send you a sample. It's very easy. Basically, the council just has to approve it, and then we just get a written copy of it, and we're able to clear that. The next one, it's repeated from 2012 as well. During the audit, we noted several interfund or receivable and payables between the different funds of the city. And we just recommend that those get paid back at least annually. Sometimes people do them on a quarterly basis. Just figure out something so that those are getting paid back.
I'm gonna talk to you about that later on,
Okay,
not tonight, but I mean.
yep, give me a call.
Okay.
The tax agency fund, this is something repeated from 2012. We just recommend that your property taxes are accounted for in that agency fund. Something to consider as well. If you wanted to do that, Shane could probably help you get that set up as well, or I can help you. Next one, pay rate documentation. This again is from 2012. So when we come in to audit, we always test payroll just to make sure that everybody's getting paid what we believe they're supposed to be getting paid. And so we just wanna see a trail, so we have something to audit from, like what everybody's authorized pay rate is supposed to be. And then utility rate documentation. This is new this year. So when we come in to do the audit, we also test water and sewer billing, make sure that the bills are getting calculated correctly and that sort of thing. So we had an issue with one of the sewer charges. There wasn't written documentation as to what the rate should have been. So we just recommend that there is a file that if we come in and ask, somebody should be able to tell us what rate that customer should be paying. And then the last one is fixed assets. This is new this year. So we noted several fixed asset additions that were not previously identified by Shake and what were not included on their initial report, so then they had to go back and revise everything. So we talked to John about this as well. Just making sure that if Shake's gonna do the fixed assets, they go through and look in the expenditure accounts, the capital outlays, make sure that they're picking up all those items.
For example, like what? I don't.
I think like Delwood Street might have been an example. For some reason, they hadn't included that on their fixed asset report, so,
Oh, okay.
so they
I thought you
went
meant
through.
we bought something and didn't put it on the books.
Right, no, it was on the books, it just didn't get on the fixed asset schedules, so.
That GASB 34 stuff though, that we submitted to you is okay, right? Is that what we're talking about?
This would have been the schedules that John prepared.
Oh, okay.
So, and we told him about it, we said, hey, we go through these accounts every year, you should go through these before we go through them, and I think
Right.
he understood that. So that's all I have, just the last comment in there was just to thank the city staff. Joe, Sheila, and Bobby were all very helpful to us during the audit, and we appreciated that.
So kind of in a nutshell, we got things heading in the right direction
Yep.
from where we were, well, probably where everybody was a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, it was a tough road back, but things are starting to climb back into the right areas.
Yep. Yeah, it was good to see a positive increase in your general fund balance. So.
Great.
And if anybody goes home and reads these reports and has questions, feel free to give me a call. Joe's got my number, Al's got it. Give me a call, send me an email, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, before she leaves, we wanted to ask her about, TIP. We're using that, giving them loans, or, grants from TIP.
Oh, yeah. We currently have a grant program for some of the businesses that are in our TIF. And we've got a couple that are outstanding right now that are waiting for the award, but we wanna make sure that the grants are, or the TIFs are holding their own.
Okay?
Is that, from what I looked briefly in the report, it looks like they're doing okay. It's mainly the downtown grant, or TIF, that we're concerned with.
Which is TIF.
TIF should be TIF 1.
TIP 1, yeah. TIP 2, whatever.
I just wanna look at the statement. I
Page
can't
7.
remember.
The summary, I think.
Yeah, I wanna, the
You wanna look at
details
the detail.
towards the back here. It's on page 32. Yeah, TIF 1 has a positive fund balance of 549,000. So it seems to, it's generating an increment of about 191,000 each year. So assuming, I don't recall how much debt is tied up with that one. You may wanna ask John that question as well.
Okay.
I know he's a little more involved in the TIF, but from the financial statements, it appears, because you're in a positive fund balance position at this time.
Okay. I think we're probably gonna, we'll see if he can come at the June meeting.
Okay,
He had talked about, when we originally set this up for the April meeting, have him come in April, and he was gonna come in May to, discuss this, so I'll get a hold of him and see if he's gonna be able to come in June.
okay.
But I'll get a hold of him in the meantime, and, has he seen these reports?
Yeah.
Did you give him a copy of those?
Yeah,
Okay.
he actually prepares the bigger packet,
Okay,
he prepared, or for this year, and last year he prepared it.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'll get a hold of him here in the next week or so and, discuss that one, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need a motion, a second, to accept the 2013 audit.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second on the floor to accept the audit, roll call vote.
Peterson?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Wyatt?
Yes.
Wenzel?
Yes.
Krupsack? Yes. Kuhn?
Yes.
Smansky?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Okay, going into committee reports, first is Ways and Means. Garrett?
The Ways and Means had one meeting to report, and I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes as written, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
To the Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, a Ways and Means meeting was held on May 13th at 6:30 p.m. in the Nekoosa Council Chambers. Members present were Garrett Kuhn, Chairperson, Terry Szymanski, Secretary, Emmett Peterson, Bob Schultz. Also in attendance were Larry Krupsack, August Wyack, and Brad Hamilton. Item number 1, we audited the bills. Item number 2, recommend city summer hours be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Fridays from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Item number 3, recommend send Bobby Hertzberg to Accelerated Tips Courts Training on June 13, 2014 per ordinance. Any questions? Recommend items 2 and 3 for adoption.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve items 2 and 3 of the Ways and Means meeting. Roll call.
Smansky?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Wyatt?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Krupsack?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Kuhn?
Yes.
Wenzel?
Yes.
Next is Public Works.
Public Works has one meeting to report. I move to have the minutes accepted as read.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes as read, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
To the Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, Public Works meeting was held on Tuesday, May 6, 2014, at 4 p.m. in the Nekoosa Council Chambers. Members present were Larry Krupsack, Terry Szymanski, Garrett Kuhn, and Robert Schultz. Also in attendance were Brad Hamilton, Bill Caverly, August Wyack, Terry Fancher, Terry Schertz, Lee Emmer from MSA, Rick Hildebrandt, Bobby Hertzberg, Frank Baltus, and Mike Zerflu. Item 1, recommend adjusting Joel Hamilton and Rich Hildebrandt's water bill and reimbursing Mike Zerflu for sewer usage. Item 2, discuss fuel problems, city to get fuel at Terry's BP. Item 3, discuss water plant inventory. Item 4, discuss annual maintenance of sewer and storm mains. Item 5, discuss water updates. Item 6, discuss water leak detection. Item 7, MSA regular update. Item 8, discussed STP urban grant. Item 9, recommend 2014 crack sealing for $12,500. Item 10, recommend 50/50 road aid. Item 11, discuss the road repairs. Item 12, recommend sending 3 men to Plover for testing for wastewater treatment plant licensing. And item 13, recommend buying 2 computers for $1,400. Any questions?
Can we hold item 1 for separate vote?
For a separate vote? Okay. So with that being said, move to adopt items 9, 10, 12, and 13.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve items 9, 10, 12, and 13 of the Public Works. Roll call.
Who second that?
Aye.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Wenzel,
Yes.
Ware,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Smansky,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Krupsack.
Yes. Item 1. There's no discussion, I move to adopt item 1.
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor to approve item 1 of the Public Works meeting. Roll call.
Wenzel,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Smansky,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Krupsack,
Yes.
Ware,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Abstains.
Next is Public Safety, Chairman Schmidt.
Public safety had one meeting, minutes to be accepted as written.
Second?
The motion is second to approve the minutes as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
To the Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, the public safety meeting was held Tuesday, May 6, 2014 at 6:40 PM in the Nekoosa Council Chambers. Members present were Terry Szymanski, Chairperson, Brad Hamilton, Secretary, Rob Wenzel, Emmett Peterson, also in attendance were Mayor Al Marco, Robert Wenzel, Garrett Cohen, August Wyack, Larry Krupsack, Assistant Ambulance Chief Ken Mooney, Ambulance Chief Don Harnish, Police Chief Sean Woods, Fire Chief Mike Hartje, and Assistant Fire Chief Dave Reinschmidt.
That should be Robert Schultz, not Robert.
Yeah,
I didn't see it until just now.
He attended twice.
Oh, yeah. He left her to do something, came back.
okay, the correction on that is Robert Schultz, and I'm also, Mayor, on number 2, it should be, or on number 1, it should be spare desk instead of
Oh,
space. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, item 1, update on safety center remodel project. House is rented for the ambulance department. Need account numbers for the remodel. Ambulance to use small conference room, chief use spare desk in the office. Number 2, recommend accepted bid for Eagle Construction for $148,920 for the safety center remodel project. Number 3, recommend $200,000 10-year loan from Nekoosa Port Edward State Bank for safety center remodel. Number 4, recommend police departments stay on 12-hour shifts. Number 5, recommend bylaws and policy procedures for the fire department. Any questions?
just one comment on item 3. I talked to Don, I don't know, Sean, if he talked to you about the loan. Basically, it's going to be kind of like a regular construction loan. It's not going to be the flat 200,000. It'll be used as we need it and then paid back. So there might not be the full 200,000 used out of it. So we'll use what we
Whatever you need.
need. Yeah.
30,000?
Yeah.
So we're gonna be submitting bills to Zig, second that?
No,
Did you get the two, you need 2 account numbers? Have we gotten them from it? Or we
I got, Troutman's gonna be coming up and we're gonna be talking about that.
Okay.
You know, I don't know whether he gets, and that's another issue in itself, the 2 account numbers. Whether we're gonna do like a construction work in progress account or something,
Whatever
you know, as
we-
an asset, or if we're gonna do it as an expense. But again, the most important thing, regardless of how he wants to put it in the chart of accounts, is making sure those bills are properly broken out.
Right.
So that's for Sean's office, drywalling for Sean's office, drywalling for ambulance department, and those type of things are clear.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
With respect to the eco-construction bid, my recommendation or advice would be that if you accept the bid, that you also give authority to the mayor to sign the contract with eco-construction once the contract is in final approval. and also approved by myself. I've reviewed the contract already. An initial draft was prepared by the architect. There's two small issues that we want to get ironed out. They're not problem issues, they're just clarification issues. And we expect that will, it's been moving pretty fast, and the contract may be in final form by the end of this week.
So you want that added on to there, that the, with the mayor's signature and your approval?
Yes.
So, yeah, let's
On
add,
item 2, you mean?
on item 2,
On item 2.
with mayor's signature, approving mayor's signature and,
Okay,
And
from the,
approving the,
Contingent on city attorney approval?
yeah,
yes.
there you go.
Well, what you're doing is you're accepting the bid.
Right.
You're accepting the bid, period. And then the contract can be signed once reviewed by the city attorney.
Contracts.
That's okay with you?
okay. We recommend number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Motion is second to approve items 2, 3, 4, and 5, the public safety meeting, roll call vote.
Wenzel,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Krupsack,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Whack,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mansky.
Yes.
Next is property recreation and human affairs.
Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, make a motion to accept the Property Recreation and Human Affairs had 2 meetings this month. First meeting was held on Tuesday, May 6th at 6:30 PM. Make a motion to accept the minutes as printed, but with these additions. I don't have the attached list of the other members who were attended the meeting, but the only other people that attended were the 2 members of the Ho-Chunk Nation, and I don't have them listed on here. So, and I have their cards. but I don't-
Joe has that.
I've got your master list right here. I don't know.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, it doesn't have to be there, but since it said attached list, I just wanted to make a motion.
No,
Mention that they were present, but I don't have their names.
were you gonna be, if you're gonna be discussing this casino expansion in the future, I do have some email addresses of Ho-Chunk Nation people.
Yeah.
And for a while there, you know, when we were doing notices, if it had Ho-Chunk on there, I would send
That was.
courtesy copies to the tribe. But, you know,
Got their cards? We got
Yep.
it.
Yeah, my card, they were in the bag and I didn't realize it until. If we can add that Casey Fitzpatrick was here, he was the executive manager of the Ho-Chunk Gaming Net, Nekoosa Wittenberg, and that Erica Totsky was also here, she's a casino manager, shift manager. And they're, thank you, Mr. Schultz.
You're welcome.
And
Yeah.
I'll make those additions to that, and then I'll continue on. Property Recreation and Human Affairs meeting was held on Tuesday, May 6, 2014, at 6:30 PM in the Nekoosa Council Chambers. Members present were Robert Wenzel, chairperson, Gary Kuhn, secretary, August Woyak, Emmett Peterson. Also in attendance were, as we mentioned, for the edit. Number 1, we discussed about the casino expansion, and there was information provided by the Ho-Chunk Nation to us about their plans, so we're interested in that. Number 2, Dave Soka discussed plans for a customer appreciation ribbon cutting ceremony across the street from his business, Party Animal Cycle Parts, in John E. Thompson Park on July 19th and 20th of 2014. Number 3, Christy Giese, is that correct?
Yes.
Discussed having a 3-day soccer camp on July 18th through the 20th, 2014 by the Alexander Middle School. Make the recommendation to donate up to $650 to help fund the camp. Number 4, to discuss facade grant for Bill Warner, Wood Lake East Apartments. That grant application includes partial lot improvement at the facility. Number 5, discuss facade grant for Mark Edwards, Nekoosa Car Wash, to include awning replacement, new washer pumps, and parking lot repair. If I could, I'd probably like to have facade business improvement grant there. Because his would be more than just a facade. And I think that would be the same thing for Mr. Warner. Number 6, discuss community center personnel and lawn reconstruction and sprinkling system at facility. Recommend installing a sprinkling system for about $4,000. Number 7, discuss basketball court paving. Number 8, recommend hiring one more DPW summer worker not to exceed 56 days of employment. And number 9, discuss flower pots and or planters for Market Street. Okay, make a recommendation to adopt number 6.
3?
3, 6, and 8.
I'm sorry, 3, 6, and 8.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve items 3, 6, and 8 of the Tuesday, May 6th Property Recreation and Human Affairs meeting. Roll call.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Wyack,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Krupsack,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Wenzel,
Yes.
Smansky.
Yes.
Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, our second Property Recreation and Human Affairs meeting was held on Tuesday, May 13th, 2014 at 5 p.m. in the Nekoosa Council Chambers. Members, I make a motion to adopt
Second.
adopt the minutes with the addition of, instead of where the motion to go into open session, I would like to put that committee went into open session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85 paren 2 to make possible recommendations on
Okay,
matters
then,
discussed in closed
well,
session.
yeah, we'll just copy that.
Okay.
I'll just copy your wording into these minutes that we got
Awesome.
here. Right.
Thank you. And then I wanted to basically, on the first line, strike who was interviewed.
Okay, we'll make that generic, and then,
Yeah.
and then when we go back, I'll kind of use that same language that we used in our notice, just on matters discussed and closed, and then can we have items 1 and item 2 for the
Yeah.
two boys?
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Garrett, I didn't fully read everything.
You know, I'm pretty green on this.
Yeah, you're green.
I know.
You're good on the other, yeah.
Experience.
I read it a couple
There he
times and you
does.
decided, so I was like, yeah.
That's why you always assign to the last person walking in the door.
You're covered, Garrett.
I do appreciate Garrett's diligence on doing the work here, very nice.
I volunteered, by the way.
Yes, you
You want your halo back or what? No.
property recreation, we did that. Members present were Robert Wenzel, chairperson, Garrett Kuhn, secretary, August Wyack, Emmett Peterson, also in attendance were Mayor Al Marco. Committee went into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, paren 1, paren C, for summer help positions. Committee came out of closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, paren 2, to make possible recommendations on matters discussed in closed session. Number 1, recommend hiring Travis Webb for summer help to replace the previous hired summer help. Number 2, recommend hiring Wyatt Caberly for summer help not to exceed 56 days of employment. Make a motion to adopt number 1 and 2.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve items 1 and 2 of the Tuesday, May 13th Property Recreation and Human Affairs meeting. Roll call.
Peterson,
Yes.
Smansky,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Wyack,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Krupsack,
Yes.
Wenzel,
Yes,
Schultz.
Yeah.
apologize for that painful meeting.
Let it go this time.
Anything else under old business?
I think I never did that.
Anything under new business? Nothing going into department reports. First is police chief's monthly report.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the police department's monthly report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is public works monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the public works monthly report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the ambulance department's monthly report. Just so everybody's aware, if you're interested, the ambulance is having a demo brought in on the 21st, if anybody wants to stop down and look at it. Other than that, there is a motion and a second to approve the monthly report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is fire department's monthly report.
Second.
Motion and a second for the fire department. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the airport commission monthly report.
So moved.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the bills.
I didn't see a building inspector order.
We did not get one from the community.
Council meeting, 5:20. Ways and Means Committee, 325. Public Works, 300. Public Safety, 350. Property Rec, 250. Property Rec, 350. Mayor's salary, 600. Then we got the three bill lists that we went through, right? So,
Yep. Make motion to pay the bills. Second.
Motion and a second on the floor to approve the bills, roll call vote.
They'll be on.
Peterson,
Yes.
Master,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Krupsack,
Yes.
Wyack,
Yes.
Wenzel,
Yes,
Schultz, Hamilton.
Yes.
Anything else that we need to discuss? And Thursday night, we'll just meet in the parking lot of Urkel, or by the plant, by their main office there at 6 o'clock for the tour.
should we park across the street?
It does matter, either one.
I think you can park right there because
Wherever
other
there's
people.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?